Hi muckers, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all doing very well. It feels very bittersweet filming this video, and the reason for that is because I am moving to New York at the end of this week, and we're not gonna have this background anymore, and this has become such an integral part of mucker lore, and it feels so weird to kind of be walking away from this entire background. So let's take it in while we have it, and let's celebrate the good times we had here. But yes, I'm moving to New York at the end of this week, and I'm terrified, excited. There's so much going on right now. If you know, you know. I am opening my tour, the Chronically Online tour, in 2 weeks from today in New York. And there's just so much going on right now. I'm moving out of Brighton for a final time. I'm moving to New York. We're doing the shows. I'm on tour all year, and I'm going to be meeting the muckers all year, and I'm going to be bringing this chaos to you in person with a really, really, really fun show. And there's just so much going on. And I'm so excited, if I'm being completely honest with you. And oh my God. Okay, so to let you all know that the first 7 are currently on sale, but this week, the rest of the dates for the Chronically Online tour are going on sale. So we're opening in Brooklyn. Tickets are linked down below. We're going to Brooklyn, Chicago, Seattle, LA, Dallas, London, and Dublin in the next couple weeks. And then we're going to Nashville, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., Boston, Minneapolis, Detroit, Chicago again because it's sold out, Orlando, Houston, Atlanta, Phoenix, Vegas, San Diego, and San Francisco. So they're all going on sale at the end of this week, just to give you a little bit of a heads up. I cannot wait to see everyone and meet all the muckers and just put on a very deranged show. But anyways, for today's video, I'm really excited. Oh, also, my Patreon is linked down below. It is such a huge support of my YouTube channel. If you want to go over there, I have so many videos that are just being uploaded on the Patreon, and I upload there every day as well. So shout out to everyone who has supported the Patreon. I appreciate it. But today's video, we're going to talk about something that feels very full circle for me because I am obviously a child of the internet. That is no shock to absolutely anyone. I grew up on the internet, and I grew up watching content creators. And one of the biggest content creator YouTube channels that I watched is something that I've never really talked about before. And I'm really curious to know if anyone else has, watched these people. But basically, one of my most watched channels, other than Jenna Marbles and Colleen Ballinger, was the 7Supergirls YouTube channel. Now, I was very young when I was watching this, therefore, this content was perfect for me because I think it was very much so aimed at, people that were between the age of 6 and 8, or maybe even younger. I do not know. The content was a bunch of young people on this YouTube channel, and they would have a day each week where they would upload. So basically the YouTube channel would upload every single day, and it would be a different girl or a different person, and people would have their favorites, and it was just this big collab channel, right? But there was a lot of really terrible stuff that went down with that channel. So let me just pull this up really quickly. So the main one was called 7Supergirls. They had a lot of other YouTube channels as well that was like different people and different cast members or whatever, but this was definitely the most popular one. So 7Supergirls were a group of 7 girls from the ages of 11 to 18. They were the largest all-girl partnered collaboration channel on YouTube. They had over 9.5 million subscribers and 5.6 billion video views. It was a part of a YouTube channel network which ran different girl group channels with similar formats and different kind of sizes. There was 7Supergirls, 7 Twinkling Tweens, 7 Epic Dancers, 7 Awesome Kids, 7 Fabulous Teens, 7 Cool Tweens, and 7 Twinkling Tweens. Okay, so it opened in 2008 in November, and they had posted their first video November 30th, and basically it closed down because the owner of the channels, who's called Ian Rylett, was arrested on August 17th, 2018 due to alleged sexual exploitation. All the channels from the Sax network, which is what it was called, were demonetized following his arrest. And basically, 7 Gymnastics Girls was later terminated outright on that same day. A YouTube channel called 7 Gymnastics Girls. So the Instagram accounts were also deleted, and then all of the other channels were terminated on March 12th, 2019. Oh my God. Instagram accounts for the channels were also deleted, and Ian pled guilty to all charges, and he was sentenced to 3 months in prison. Additionally, he faced 5 years of probation and a ban on him ever working with minors for the rest of his life. The channel held the record for the most subscribed YouTube channel to face termination with approximately 9.5 million subscribers at the time until they were surpassed on June 8th at that time. Okay, so Basically, one of the main members, as you can see literally here in the photo, was this girl called Kaylin. Now, she was my favorite. There were so many different people in the channel, but Kaylin was my favorite. She always had like a fun room. She would do like a fun room tour. She was always like she came across like super American and super rich to me. She would do these morning routines, and I'm like, oh my God, you work like you're homeschooled and all like this. Like, I was gagged, right? I loved it. Now, looking back, I've not thought about this YouTube channel in a very, very, very long time. And I know some of the creators that were on this YouTube channel have social media followings now, and some of them don't at all. Me now being 22, I don't know why I had to think about that. 22 years old. For some reason, I feel like I'm 23. For 22 years old, I look back on this channel, obviously with a very different perspective. So when I was watching this YouTube channel, I was watching it whenever I was like 7 years old, 8 years old, 9 years old, 10 years old, whatever. But I used to think that the only people that would watch these YouTube channels were people my age. But then I start hearing that the channels, and I'm reminded that the channels were called like 7 Gymnastics Girls, 7 Twinkling Tweens. And I'm like, oh, the same way I'm on your ass calling out fucking family vloggers, it's the same with this. What do you mean? There was a network of these YouTube channels that were teens, children, literally children, posting every single day for, weeks and years on end. And they would do challenges, they would do gymnastics, they would do all these different things, and they were getting millions of views and one of the biggest YouTube channels. Oh yeah, because a huge, probably majority of those people were creeps watching the same way the fucking creator was. It's the reason that family channels have huge numbers, and if they do a gymnastics video with their kid, as disgusting as this is to say, it'll be their top performing video. That's why I'm so fucking against it. But anyways, Kaylin right here was definitely a crowd favorite, and she was definitely mine, and she has her own YouTube channel now, and she has just posted yesterday a 2-part series, 7Supergirls, Kaylin's Experience, Part 1 and Part 2. Now, I was going to watch this off camera because literally I like her videos now, and there's a little bit of nostalgia where I think we're the same age, and, I literally, as creepy as this sounds, like, I grew up watching her, and I've she said things here and there in regards to the channel, and I know that there was probably a lot of legal stuff where they couldn't talk about it, and there were also, like, kids when this, pleading guilty and the creator and stuff. But anyways, I'm really, really, really intrigued to see what she says here. So if you didn't know the lore, now you know the lore, and you're caught up to speed. So let's get into this.
I was a little girl, I was obsessed with YouTube. I spent all day watching videos, and when I was probably 7 through 10, all I wanted to do was make videos. I would use webcams on computers, and I would use my parents' really old, like, 2000s camcorder that you had to, like, directly plug into a computer to import things from. It didn't even have, like, an SD card. It barely even worked, but I made a video of everything. I made videos with my American Girl dolls, my Littlest Pet Shop, random things that I was doing. I got so creative with it because all I wanted to do was make videos. My parents had this old PC laptop. It was humongous, and I remember I would sit in the office until my bedtime watching YouTube. I watched all the YouTube channels that you probably grew up with. I watched, like, Raytaily, Shaytards, Minecraft YouTubers, like, you name it, I probably watched it. Gen X Pen, I was obsessed with her. And one day I found the Sax channels. The Sax channels were a group of channels that the premise of was basically the first word in every single one of them was 7. There would be 7 girls, one for each day of the week, and they would all do this collaboration channel together. There was a bunch of them. There was 7Supergirls, 7 Awesome Kids, 7 Twinkling Tweens, 7 Gymnastics Girls, and I remember I came across them and I watched them religiously. When I was a little girl, I never fit in. I was very shy, very anxious. I had one friend my entire childhood. I got bullied relentlessly in school. I just, like, never fit in. Not to sound like I'm a weirdo, I don't fit in. When I would watch these videos, I thought to myself, so bad, I just want to do that. Like, I want to do this. I want to be one of these girls that people love to watch.
You know what's even crazier? What's even crazier? Without me knowing, when me and my friends would go to school, this is what's so fucking crazy. We would use the school computers that you would play, like, cool maths games on, and we would literally find emails of the, like, owners and stuff like this of these channels. Don't know what that was for. Anyways, we would find the emails and we would email, girl, whatever's going on here. We would literally email and, like, beg to be a part of these channels. And it would be me and my friends Kate and my friends Sive and Maeve and Emer, and it was all the girls and then me. But, like, it was a dream to be on these channels. It was like, if you are a little bit older, or maybe you're my age and you didn't know about these channels, because obviously that's, valid as well, it was a dream. Like, it would have been a dream come true to have been a member of the 7 blank channels, right? And it just is to put a little bit of perspective, because I know that like there's going to be a huge chunk of people by being like, where were the parents in terms of, Kaylin speaking up or anyone speaking up. I feel like that's inevitable. People will always go to blaming anyone else except for actually the problem. These channels they were almost ran like TV shows, and it was a dream for your child to be a part of one. So tread a little bit nicer in the comment section of this video if you're going to immediately judge parents or something like that, because it's important to note that within the context of these, it was the golden opportunity to have your child be on one of these. I mean, they were getting millions of views and probably making, a shit ton of money.
Watch and like and see and wish they could be friends with. Like, I would see these girls and I would be like, oh, I wish I could be their friend. They seem so cool. Specifically, I watched Jenna, ironically, who I shared like my entire time on the channel on 7SuperGirls with. And I remember one day, one of the channels that I watched, it was 7 Twinkling Tweens and 7 Perfect Angels.
They would do applications.
And they were holding auditions. Yes! And I remember I went to my mom and I begged her. I said, can I please audition for this? She had no idea what it was. No idea what I was talking about. Quick sidetrack. I did not have a lot of parental control on my internet access. I don't really fault my parents for this because it was like early days internet, like before I feel like society.
Also, I feel really passionate about this. It was very normal for, I think, our age and maybe a little bit before us, because I think the couple years before me in terms of my brothers are like 7 years older than me, right? They were like creating social media platforms around the same time I was creating a social media platform, and everyone my age was creating a Facebook the time they were, and it would be used to just keep up with your school friends. Our parents didn't know the extent of what a majority of us were getting up to on the internet, because no one really understood the ramifications of social media or how deep, you could really, figure it out in terms of our age. So again, whenever I hear her say this, I'm like, oh, preach. Because, that's been thrown in my face and my parents' face a long time. But like, it's irresponsible to not note that obviously we know what we know now with like internet protection. And obviously there was always like stranger danger, but it's only within recent times that we really know what kids can get up to on the internet and what they can see. And obviously it's great to then apply it, but don't just use it as a blanket term to give people criticism.
You really knew how dangerous the internet could be. And I mean, my parents knew what I was doing and what I was watching, but I probably shouldn't have even been on the internet, but like, it was like 2010. I feel like
that's when I started my YouTube channel.
Now not to let your children on the internet for reasons like this video I'm making right now. I remember I saw that 7 Twinkling Tweens and 7 Perfect Angels were holding auditions. I begged my mom. She was like blindsided because I was not the one you would expect to want to do something like this, but she wanted to support my dreams, so she allowed me to do it. And we got our crappy camera, and I remember you had to send the audition through Hightail, which is like a video sending service. I don't even know how to explain it. It's like Dropbox. And basically the way the audition process worked is you sent in this audition and then you got a callback. And then from that callback, you would basically find out whether or not you made it. I don't remember if there was a theme for the audition. It was so long ago, but you have to remember, like, I'm going to have to remember some of these things as well because I'm 24. So I was 10.
Oh my God, so she's 2 years older than me. Damn. Okay, so we were very similar age whenever I was watching these videos and she was creating.
Years ago. I remember from my video I did a fashion show, and it was so funny because we did not know how to edit, we did not know how to do anything. So my mom held the camera and an iPad, and she played some royalty-free fashion show music, and I like walked to it, and it was just that was the audition. It was terrible. And somehow I got a call back. I was so excited. I got an email that was like, you've been called back for like a position on 7 Perfect Angels or 7 Twinkling Tweens, la 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 la, do this. I don't remember if it was the exact theme or if they just said like make another video that shows your person. I don't remember. But I remember I did a challenge where I think I balanced a cup of water on my head. Looking back, it bothers me so deeply now that everything has happened that I sent in this video of little 10-year-old me in a swimsuit like with water pouring all over my head. But we didn't know at the time. So that was probably like not the best choice for a callback.
And also each week, for another little bit of context, there would be a theme. And I think that it was the creator who set that up. And sometimes there would be swimming weeks where these young girls, these little kid girls, would be uploading these videos where they're in swimsuits and doing, it's just...
But that's what I did because I remember I had seen Jenna do a video where she balanced a cup of water on her head, and to prove that I actually did this wasn't even for the callback. This was a video that I currently have on this channel privated from like 2010 or 11 where I tried to beat Jenna's high score of the challenge. I never uploaded it, or I think it was up, but like no one saw it because no one knew who I was and it was like on a random channel. Long story short, I got in. I got on 7 Perfect Angels. I think I was the Sunday slot. I'm gonna set a few guidelines, like little rules for this video. One, if you know how 7SuperGirls ended, like it was a whole scandal. It's all over the internet. If you want to know about it, you can look it up. I think that's pretty common common knowledge. I'm not going to be speaking on what happened after I left the channel and what happened to end it in much detail because that is not my story. I was not on the channel when this happened. I don't feel comfortable sharing somebody else's story. I also am not going to be talking about other people's experiences. And if I do mention something, I might not say who it's about because, again, not my story to tell. If it's like nothing crazy, I'll say it. But if it's anything that's like I feel is private or I wouldn't want said about me or like aired out by someone other than myself, I will not be saying a name. Hope you can respect that. Ian was the name of the owner. He was a 50-something-year-old man who lived in the UK. When you hear that, it automatically sends up.
Oh my god, I didn't know that he was in the UK. So he was in the UK and all these channels were practically run with like American young girls.
Crazy red flags in your brain. I'm aware. It sent them up in us too. We did not know this until obviously after I had already gotten called back and received emails back and was in the process of getting onto the channel. And my mom was like, oh hell no, because as anybody would when you find out the person running a channel of a bunch of like adolescent girls is a 50-year-old man. Before you go, what the hell? I need you to understand, we had no reason to not trust him for a while. Ian was in his 50s. He lived in the UK. That's kind of all we really knew about him at the start, apart from the fact that he had a daughter. This was pertinent information because this was the whole reason the channel started, or so he claims. I'm going to tell it as I know it. Whether or not everything is true and everything that I was told is true, I don't know. I won't ever know if he lied to me, or us in general.
Hold on, that's fucking disgusting that he hid behind the fact that he made it because of his daughter. I want to figure out what part of the UK he was from. I did not know he was part of the UK. SevenSuperGirls. Oh, it's just these news articles about him. So basically, there is accused of a 15-year-old actress I can't figure out where exactly he's from in the UK. Fuck's sake. Ian Rylett was the owner of the Sax channels in 2018. He was arrested on counts of SA. Following his arrest, they were demonetized and then they were deleted. Fuck.
Very well cut up. But what I was told is he had a daughter and he originally started the channel or the channels. He had one that he had made with his daughter and a couple of her friends. They would make little like skit videos together. There was proof of this from like a very long time before the channel started gaining traction. And there was another woman whenever I started who I'm also not going to name because I don't think she had any involvement in anything bad that happened. I don't know, but I don't think she did. So for the sake of this video, we're going to call her Rue. Okay, that was not her name. Once the channel started to pick up and his daughter, I guess, lost interest in making videos or just didn't do it anymore, Rue started kind of co-managing it with Ian. Rue being on also gave my mom, like my parents, a peace of mind because, okay, there's like a woman involved and his story did track. That is why the channel had started in the first place and then it started to grow and become more successful and he kept it up. And then once his daughter was no longer interested, he auditioned people and made it like a thing. Seemed innocent. He was a dad. Whenever you got onto the channels, you had to do a parental consent video. So you had to sit down with your parent or a guardian and they had to say, hi, like I'm Kaylin's mom, Melissa, and I approve of her being on the channel. Like I give my permission, whatever. I guess that's probably to cover his ass, but also just to get parental consent. I don't know, whatever. And then you would do like a Skype call where you meet him and the sorts. I'm not gonna like linger too much on this era of it because nothing really happened at this point. Everything started off so innocent. Nothing was a red flag at this point. There was probably a couple things looking back that may have been something to pay attention to, but you guys have to understand, I get a lot of comments that are like, why did you stay? Like, how did your parents let you do this? You guys are looking at it from the outside perspective, okay? You know how...
It's such a great point. People will give criticism or be like, well, I wouldn't have done it like that. Yeah, because you know them what happened. That's very, very, very different.
Starts how it goes, how it ends. You know the full story. We only knew how it started and how it was going. We did not know how it was going to end. We had no reason not to trust this man and no reason to add up all these tiny little things that may have been a little bit strange over the years until we really had reason. And all I'm going to say about that right now is that, you know, there's a reason that all of the girls, like the OG girls, left at the same time. Because things did not get weird till way, way later. Like, it's not black and white. And it's easy to say from an outside perspective. And obviously, I know that's what you guys know. And from that, I would also be like, why did you do it then? Or like, why did your parents let you do it if I was looking at it from the outside?
I've already touched on why that sentiment annoys me.
I'm going to try to explain it the best that I can. Pretty quickly, I moved up from 7 Twinkling Tweens to 7 Awesome Kids, and then from 7 Awesome Kids to 7SuperGirls. I think I'd only been on 7 Awesome Kids for like a month before getting the 7SuperGirls email from him. And I remember being so excited. Like, this was the goal. If you were on the channels, you know, like, it was like the channel, the place to be, like, the it girl channel. I felt so special and, like, wanted. And the thing that's funny about this is, okay, this was weird. And I look back.
And also, keep in mind throughout all of this, she is literally a child. I'm going to pause a second because I want to go get some lip balm because my lips are dry as fuck. Okay, we are back, divas.
It's definitely really strange. We used to like Skype. All communication on the Zach channels was through Skype. That was like the video chatting thing of that day. That was like the Zoom, the FaceTime.
Does anyone remember Uvu? OOV 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 OV Uvu. It was like a really popular version of Skype. We used to use it all the time. And then Periscope, like a live streaming thing. God, I used to use the fuck out of Periscope.
Using Skype. And so he would like Skype, and he would like sometimes just like be in our Skype calls. Like he would like come on and talk to us briefly or whatever, because we would Skype like in the group chat that we had for the channels. That was weird. I look back on that and that was definitely weird. But on one of these times that he joined our Skype call, I don't remember how we got to this topic, but he admitted to me that he almost didn't let me on the channel because he didn't think I was good enough. Bitch, I was 11. Like that's actually crazy. So I moved up to 7Supergirls. Around this time, my mom wanted to get more involved in the channels, primarily for my safety. She wanted to kind of like be more involved and keep tabs on what was going on, so she kind of knew what was going on at all times and could pinpoint if something was weird, as any parent probably didn't fully trust this man. The SAC channels had this thing called the Parents Committee. Parents could get brought onto this committee and they would help him kind of make decisions for the channel, or they would discuss things every week. He would like give them information. One thing I get a lot of questions and comments about is parents, and I will get to that more, but my mom did join that in an attempt to have an idea of more what was going on and get to know this guy better and make sure I was safe, the other girls were safe, etc., etc. This is where things started to change. So I was on 7Supergirls for a couple years before anything really got weird. At this point on the channel, there were rules. It was like, you know, no winter clothes. He wanted it to look like summer all year round and us to all like be in the sunshine all the time. And
it's so weird. No winter clothes allowed.
And you know, we were supposed to keep our appearances within like the realm of the kind of videos that we were making. And then the channel started to grow and grow and grow and grow. And this is where Ian goes from seemingly innocent to the devil very quickly. I remember when it started picking up. This is so sad, but this is like the first time in my life I've ever felt liked. I felt like wanted. I had never felt like that before. I was like, wow, people actually like me, because people didn't. Like I just remember feeling like, wow, I'm finally like one of those girls like I wanted to be. I think it's funny because I think a big misconception that people have in general about me, and I still get comments about this, they're like, oh, like I hated you so much because I just know you were like the popular bitchy girl. No. Glad I could fake it till I make it, but no, that could not have actually been further from the truth, I fear. When I was about 12, I was in 7th grade, I was doing 7Supergirls full time. You know, I was starting to get paid from it a little bit. It was becoming more of like a job. It was still like a fun job, still something I like enjoyed doing. But
that's also what I'm really intrigued, and I'm sure we're not going to get the answer, but like how much each of these kids and their parents were paid, because they were bringing in per video, and it was like every day of the week, millions of views. And obviously different time on YouTube. I don't know if AdSense was as strong then, but they were getting, I can only imagine, sponsorships and brand deals, and they were doing meet and greets with their fans and stuff. Like, was he pocketing most of that money? Like,
but, you know, more of a job nonetheless. It was starting to get a little more serious as the channel picked up. Before it was like silly little videos. Now it was like, oh, silly little videos with a check. I was in school. I was in public school. And I started homeschooling in 2012 in 7th grade. One, because it was becoming more of a job, but mostly because I was struggling so bad. I was having the literal worst year of my life, like in school. I would throw up before school every morning. I was having such bad anxiety, daily panic attacks, crying before school. I remember one time my teacher had to come physically pull me out of the car rider lane. I was getting really heavily bullied for, just in general, because I always was, but because of like the fact that I was doing YouTube. People thought it was embarrassing. They like made fun of me for it. I remember.
Also, just to clarify for context here, very different time doing YouTube until probably honestly, probably until like 2019 was very made fun of and looked down upon. And it was really the rise of TikTok that people started being like, oh, you do YouTube? And that's when you see kids being like, I want to be a YouTuber when I grow up. Before it was it was no. This makes sense now why she ended up being homeschooled.
An upperclassman.
I was so jealous that she was homeschooled.
Like near the very end of me going to school. Shoved me down like the 2-story flight of stairs. So that was fun. Another thing is I don't want pity. Like, you don't have to like comment, I'm so sorry. You can, I don't care, but I don't want pity. I'm so over all of this, for the record. Like, I'm fine. A lot of people are like, I hope you're okay, girl. I'm really okay. Like, I don't feel that I have any quote unquote trauma from it. I mean, it sucks, all of it, but I mean, I'm fine. So that's just something I want to put out there. My mom pulled me out because it was honestly what was best for me, and I don't regret that at all. A lot of people think it was just because of SSG, which did, you know, help me focus on it more, doing online school, but it was more for my own sake. And that's another thing. It's like, you never know what someone's going through, and don't assume that. I got so many comments of people saying they wish they were me. And I used to like read them when I was that age and be like, why would you wish that? Although I felt so lucky that I had 7Supergirls going for me and that I had an overall good life, I also felt so unlucky because I struggled so much. It's just kind of funny because I remember seeing a video recently on TikTok of someone uploading my homeschool routine. They were like, this spoiled bitch. Like, I cannot believe she was homeschooled. Like, every childhood YouTuber was homeschooled. Like, imagine being so rich and blah, 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 blah. And I replied, and I was like, very appreciative of my life, but I actually was homeschooled because I had like a severe anxiety disorder. And they go, this was so funny. They were like, right, because the girl with the giant house and the pool in the backyard has something to be anxious about. I was like, I'm sorry, what? But anyway. That was just a little bit funny. I'm going to fast forward a little bit. Money started to come to the picture. We started getting paid. He would basically get, the monthly income. It was like ad revenue from the channel. And then he would divvy it, and you would think that he would do it, equally. Every girl gets an even cut. No. This is where things start to get fucked up. Because often he would send us our stats. He would send us statistics of who was doing the best on the channel at that given time. And he would rank us. He would rank.
No. Fundamentally, the problem with that is you're dealing with a bunch of really young people who are now in competition with each other in terms of getting money, and the parents are having their money not be a regular income with these channels because the parents are working with the kids to make these videos and stuff, right? And it was probably the main income for a lot of these people. But when you're having kids be like, you're getting more money than you because you're more popular, fundamentally, that is so fucked up.
11 through 15-year-olds based on how many views they got. And he would send it to everybody. It's literally like the Dance Moms pyramid. You're number 7. You suck. But he would threaten whoever was at the lowest position. He literally was like, if you can't get your views up, you're going to be replaced. He would pay us, as far as I'm aware. I don't remember if it was always like this. I was not the one in control of my money because I was a minor. My parents were, dealing with my income. But he would pay you based on your position, like your ranking on the channel. I'm not sure how he determined how much to pay. I think he just fucking decided. And I also think he kept most of the money. With the growth of the channel also came sponsorships. You're about to hear a lot about these sponsorships because this is where everything starts. 2015 is when everything really, really changed. We were no longer just 7 girls who lived all over the world and made videos together on this joint channel, but now we were 7 girls who lived all over the world making videos on this joint channel who were being sent on brand trips. This was huge. We were all...
These are all kids!
He told us that, I believe it was Justice, was funding a trip for all of us to go to Anaheim, California to do sponsored work for them. Basically, all of us together.
Not Anaheim.
Their clothing. All of us were flying out. Everything was comped. Our flights, our hotel. He would rent an entire block of a hotel all for us. So every girl would be door to door to door. We could open the doors and go in between each other. Our parents came. People's siblings came at the start. We'll get to that. It was so surreal. I remember it was my first time ever going on a plane. I had never been out of Texas. It was so surreal. I never thought something like that could happen to me. There is a lot of debate between the girls that were on the channels and I think people who have heard stories on whether or not the sponsors were ever real. I don't know, but I do believe that the sponsors were real at the beginning. One, it would be shocking if a channel that had amassed 9 million subscribers was not receiving brand deals because I receive brand deals and I do not have 9 million subscribers. It would be insane to think that, that wasn't happening. I don't think he had a reason at this point to lie about us getting brand deals. And we met with I don't remember what it was, but it was the vice president of justice or something. We met with him at a hotel. We had a meeting with him. This first trip was so much fun. I have such that's probably the fondest memories that I have. All the girls clicked immediately. It was so much fun. We all got along. We would hang out in a hotel room every night after filming.
So young.
Just talk and eat candy. And it was truly so much fun. At this point, my mom had been on the parents committee for years. She was really involved with everything going on. I remember when we started getting sponsors, the way it would work is they would send us, in this instance, Justice would send us a catalog of all of their, their new line for summer or whatever it was, back to school. I think we did a back to school fashion show on this first trip. It was July of 2015. They would send us the catalog and then basically we had to, not us, but he was supposed to pick out outfits for all the girls, several outfit options for all the girls out of, what we were given to work with. He put that on my mom. My mom did all of that. She would spend a lot of time trying to tailor them because obviously this wasn't our personal styles. I mean, we were at this point 15. Most of us were around the same age. Some of us were a little younger, some of us were a little older, give or take, but we were median 15 years old. So we weren't really wearing Justice at this point. Although I was wearing Justice underwear because they were really comfortable. But that's
also just the fundamental problem with this as well is this kind of format provides so many problems for people who are on it growing up because it's like a ticking time bomb where when you turn 16, you're too old to be on this channel. Therefore, you feel that at age 16, your life is over and you're too old, which is the complete opposite, which is why these fucking channels shouldn't exist. And that's such an interesting point of her being wondering if the sponsorships were even real, or was he just trying to get everyone in the same hotel and hang out with the girls, or the girls all film together, and it's so fucked up.
That's between me and God. We weren't really wearing that. So, the clothes were a little bit younger, so to speak, than how old we were. But you wouldn't have really known we were 15 because I don't even feel like any of us really looked 15 and we tried to not look 15. My mom spent hours picking out these outfits and tailoring them so they would best, as well as she could, look like something that would actually be each girl's style and that they would be comfortable in. This trip, we rented out a mansion to film in for the week. I had never seen a mansion like that before. It had a giant pool, lagoon that we were doing a mermaid sponsorship in. Oh my God, beautiful views of the mountains. It had
that as well. You're all doing sponsorships in the fucking pool, doing mermaids, like,
movie theater. None of us.
and a 50-year-old man is behind this.
Can't even imagine how much it costs to rent it out, but that's where we were shooting all of the videos. Who shot the videos? This is something that people get confused about a lot because I've seen comments that are like, I thought it was like their moms filming the videos. It was when we were by ourselves. So when we were at home by ourselves, we were the ones filming the videos. My mom filmed every video for me. I think most people's moms filmed for them. I don't know, maybe they had a friend or a sibling do it. I know most of us, our parents were the ones filming us at home. But when we would go on these trips, he was the one filming us, except for a while, he had my mom filming us.
What the fuck? So this like 50-something-year-old man is the one operating the camera with all these girls splashing in the pool as well? Like, this is... Oh, God.
I'm gonna get to all of that in a second. We go to this mansion. We are so excited. All of us are vlogging. I specifically remember we all had our phones and cameras out. We were so excited to be there. We were gonna like make little vlogs and upload them on our own personal channels, which we all had.
I'm so excited to see it. I want to like jump in.
Oh, they're so young.
Oh my gosh, this is so really. Oh my god, the view. Hold on.
It's just a bunch of excited kids.
Everything we saw, we were filming outside, the beautiful views. We were like, oh my god, look at this pool. Holy, this is so cool. After days of vlogging everything, he decides to inform us that we cannot post it anywhere. I think he maybe blamed it on the sponsor, which you're going to see is a big theme here. He maybe blamed it on the sponsor. He got to a point that we were not allowed to upload anything on our personal, nothing on our personal channels. And if we did, we would get punished. I remember the first day of that trip, I was walking in the hallway of the hotel. I had not met anybody yet. I think Jazzy and I were like the first people to get there because I think we might have been on the same flight. If I remember correctly, Jazzy and I lived like an hour from each other, but we had never met, which is ironic.
Jazzy Ann. I like Jazzy Ann as well.
Got to our hotel and everything, and went our separate ways, got in our rooms to get situated and stuff. And I remember I was walking in the hallway with my mom. I don't know where we were going, but I ran into him for the first time. It was so awkward. He was a very awkward man. I don't know how else to describe him. I'll give you a little visual of what he looked like. He was probably my height now, probably like 5'10", balding, big like bald patch in the middle of his head, and gray hair that always looked really greasy. I'm not even being mean about this. Actually, I am. I don't actually give a shit. He was disgusting. Had greasy hair. He wore thin frame glasses. Old looking British man. Always had a blue button up on with crazy pit stains and like dress pants or jeans. He was like twitchy. I don't know how else to describe him, but like twitchy, like not like he had like a twitch, like just like fidgety. He was very fidgety and like always like seemed really nervous. Maybe it's because he like had ulterior motives and he was trying to, I don't know. He smelled horrible. Ask any of the girls, this man stunk. You guys, like onions, cigarettes. He always had a cigarette in his mouth. Onions, cigarettes, and cheese. His pants were always super baggy in the butt. And all the girls, at some point, as we went on more and more of these trips, we started calling him Baggy. And that was our code word to talk about him behind his back when he was there, is we would say Baggy this, Baggy that. Like whatever we were saying, we would replace his name with Baggy. And I think he caught on at one point, so we started calling him Maggie, because it rhymed with Baggy. On these trips, we had videos planned out for us that were written by a scriptwriter. He hired some scriptwriter to write these skits for us. There was like one that was like SevenSuperGirls Saves the World, and like, I don't know, some park prank that got played on me. I don't even remember. We were filming at like a public park. Every night on these trips, we would have to have a group meeting. It would be like where we discussed what we're doing tomorrow, and he basically would like tell us everything we did wrong that day. And it would be in his room, which was really sketch and strange, but I think one of our moms came with us.
What the fuck?
I remember, maybe my mom. This Anaheim trip is probably like the first time that something weird happened. Something that we couldn't really prove. On this trip, he rented out a yacht. We had a swimsuit sponsorship with Roxy. It's like a surfwear company. I actually like wore their...
Even at a bare minimum, the fact that even if this was completely innocent, him booking and agreeing to sponsorships that are swimwear with children, and he's filming the videos, taking them on yachts.
Clothes in real life, so I was pretty excited about this one. Or I had in the past. I had never been on a boat. This was crazy. I remember we went on this yacht. We were all so excited. We were still vlogging at this point because this was before he told us that we weren't allowed to post any of the vlog. Anyway, we were on this yacht in these swimsuits, and I'm gonna be honest, the thing that bothers me most is knowing that this was on the internet. And you have to also think about the fact that we were kids, like we were teenagers, so we weren't thinking, ooh, there was a point that I thought it, but at this...
Okay. For all those people that say and give criticism to people like me or other channels that will call out family vloggers by being like, your child does not consent to be on the internet. We are now in the age where we're starting to hear from the people that were exploited online as a kid say that it upsets them, it pisses them off, they wish it didn't happen. What does it have to happen? It's going to be a huge lawsuit in a couple years. Some of these fucking kids on these family channels are going to sue their parents to shit. And they're going to win. And there's going to be new laws put in.
Time I was like,
and it's needed.
Yeah, we get to like wear cute swimsuits, whatever. Like we're teenagers. We're not thinking of the implications of wearing these pretty small like triangle bikinis on the internet for probably like 2-3 million people to watch. I don't even remember what the premise of the video was. I don't think it was a skit. I think it was just like fun footage, you know, of us like playing on the yacht. I remember at this point, all the parents were coming to all the shoots that we would do. All the moms were there when we were shooting at the park. All the moms were there. I remember he kept yelling at them because they kept getting the background of shots and it was like really pissing him off. We would go to the house. All the moms would come. They'd have to like go hide in the room though because again, he'd get pissed if they were in the shots. This yacht obviously had limited space. We were all going on it. He had to go on it. So he didn't want all the moms to come. My mom agreed to come because she was worried about it. She came on this boat with us and my poor mother was so seasick, like incredibly seasick. She was like having to lay at the top with like those pressure point things and like motion sick. I don't even remember, but she was like dying. But meanwhile, we were all filming and yada yada yada. This was the first moment. This was the first red flag. This was the first time I ever genuinely felt uncomfortable by him. I remember Jenna and I were inside of the little interior house part of the yacht. When you would go inside, there was like couches and all these windows that like looked out at the boat deck. We were just sitting in there. We were not being filmed or anything at that point. I don't remember what we were doing. We were like walking around and talking and just like hanging out. All of a sudden, Jenna's like, "Oh my god, what just happened?" And I don't remember exactly what she said, but she like whispered it to me and I was like, "What?" She like told me to look over and he was walking by the windows with his camera filming out these windows. The way it was built, like the windows sat low. So if you looked in them, you were seeing like our torso and our butt, basically. Like I don't know how to explain it, but the way the windows sat, it like our heads weren't in it. Like you wouldn't have been able to see our full body. It was like probably like, I don't know, here down. She like points over at the window. She's like, "He's filming our butts. Like pay attention." And I'm like looking and I don't see him and I don't see him. And then he comes around by the next window and he's like filming in the window. Filming what I can only imagine is our butts. She got like super freaked out. I couldn't even like tell my mom because she was like dying from motion sickness. I can't remember if she told her mom and we started to reason with ourselves and be like, okay, he was probably just trying to get like fun little footage and you know, that's all he could like, maybe he was just testing the camera. Like we started to make excuses because we didn't think that that could have possibly been.
Again, and imagine the kids involved picking up on this. Like that's how bad it was as well.
But now I fully believe that it was. Apart from that, I don't think anything else really notable happened on this trip. We had our first ever meet and greet, which was so exciting. We were all super nervous, but super excited. I remember one thing that was really weird is he was acting like we were celebrities. Like he was like making us walk in a single file line behind him throughout the hotel we were staying at because the hotels that we would stay at would also be where we held our meet and greets, which is stupid. I don't know why you would do that. But the meet and greets would happen at the convention center of the hotel we were staying at. So like everyone knew we were staying there. So this was like his own fault. But he would make us walk in a single file line and like have our moms like standing all around us. And he was like, "You're high profile. You're like high profile celebrities and you cannot be like walking around alone and you have to be like really careful. And if a fan comes up to you, you have to ignore them." What? Like, we're having a fucking meet and greet. Why would we ignore our fans? The ignoring the fans thing is also, like, a theme that occurred because at every meet and greet, I remember, there was this rule that, so the way the meet and greets worked is, it would start off, everyone would be in a room, so, like, there would be a big, like, conference room where we would be up at, like, a long table on a stage. We would answer questions. So there'd be, like, a list of pre-made questions, and then we would open the questions to the audience where they could ask us whatever we
Oh, this is so young.
went on for, like, 30 minutes to an hour, I can't even remember. We would go in the other room, and people would line up to meet us and take a picture with us. His rule was that we were not allowed to take individual photos with any of the fans. They could only take the group picture, and they could either take it themselves or there was a photographer there. And then you got handed a packet that had like all of our autographs and some little like SevenSuperGirls swag. Like it was like lip balm and like a pen or some shit. He would scream at us if we took a photo with a fan. I remember girls would come up to me and be like, "You're my favorite. Like I love you so much. I watch you every week. Can I please take like a selfie with you?" And I'm not going to say no because.
So this is the thing as well. Literally what I said earlier, Kaylin was my favorite. These channels were incentivized to have people have a favorite. So him doing that and putting the blame on the kids for not setting boundaries with fans is so... And it's not even boundaries. It's they're going to the meet and greet is so fucked up. And it's just crazy because when I think of this channel, like if I think back to like me whenever I was watching this channel, if I had to imagine who was running the channel, I think I would have put it down to, I think I always thought that Kaylin's parents were the ones that ran it because she was always like the main girl, right? Or at least seemed it to me. Always the most popular one. I could never have imagined that it would have been a fucking 50-year-old man.
Like, sorry, but I'm going to say yes. I'm sorry, Ian, but these are my videos that I make. I understand you run the channel, but I'm the one that makes these videos, and these are the people that watch my videos. If I want to take a picture with them, I'm going to take a picture with them. And I understand logistically why he was putting that rule in place because he didn't want to, you know, if one person gets a picture with one girl, then everybody's going to think it's okay to take a picture with one girl, and then we'll run overtime. I understand that to some extent. I'm also not going to say no. So, like, get over it. I don't know what to say. Like, I'm not gonna say no, so get over it. He would get so mad. We would take, like, a break, and he would pull whoever it was that pissed him off back there and go off. He'd pull my mom back there, and he was like, "You can't be taking pictures." He also had, like, a thick British accent, so that just made everything a little bit worse. He was like, "You can't be taking pictures of people that hold up the whole line. I've told you this multiple times." Blah, blah, blah. We did not gaff, because my mom, when he started making us turn them down, the girls would start crying. They would get so upset. I felt so bad. My mom would go find them and their mom before they left and hide them. And then once we were done, bring me over, and I would hang out with them and take pictures with them. Like, once we were finished with all the meet and greet stuff. Melissa had these people's backs, let me tell you. When we would do these meet and greets, we had like a host. This was his cover. Lauren, who I love so dearly. She was on one of the channels at one point, and then I think left the channels, but was working with him on the like she was like the creative director. So she would help with themes and video ideas, and she would communicate with us sometimes, and she would host the meet and greets, and she came on every trip. She was like our big sister. Like we all loved Lauren. She's such a sweet person, and she would host the meet and greets, and he would have us basically lie and cover and say that Lauren was like the channel director, which everyone took as the channel manager. This is a question I get all the time. They're like, I thought it was that.
Oh, that's so fucking weird. Like he knows. He's a fucking 50-year-old man. That it's weird that if people knew, and the parents in the crowd, that these kids, these young girls, were being filmed and managed and all this by a 50-year-old British man. And the fact that he would have them lie and say that it would be this woman was the one behind it is crazy.
I thought it was her, I thought it was Lauren.
Crazy.
He, I think, wanted us to say that because he didn't want people to know that it was him. And that is sketchy looking back on it, because why? If he had nothing to hide, why wasn't he okay with being known? At some point, this still makes me so angry. He like completely cut Lauren out for, from what I recall, zero reason, which is super in character for him. Got super controlling. He didn't want her to be on any of the trips. He didn't want her to be hosting anything. He had someone else host it. I don't remember if she did something that pissed him off, which wouldn't have even been her fault, because he would turn on you so quick. You would be his favorite, and then he would absolutely hate your guts like a day later if you did one wrong thing. He wouldn't let us even like go in rooms with her and talk with her. Like I told you, we would all, you know, sit in a hotel room and hang out afterwards. He stopped allowing us to do that with Lauren. Why? I have no fucking clue. It was so ridiculous. Made me so sad. Once the channel had gotten really big, he like really leaned into the ranking girls. He would actively pit us against each other. He would tell us all the time, all of you are replaceable. He said, I don't care about any of you. The viewers won't care if you're gone. You are all replaceable. If you don't get enough views or you don't comply.
Again, just keep in mind that this is like a 50-something-year-old man telling young girls this. What a fucking loser.
With the rules, you're gone. He just constantly told us how replaceable we all were. Sometimes girls from other channels would fly out just to like come to the meet and greet and experience it. Or he would fly them out sometimes. And I remember there was a time that a bunch of girls from, I think, Seven Perfect Angels and like a couple other channels were there, came up to all of us, all the SevenSuperGirls, because we were standing in a line waiting on like the meet and greet to start. And he like pointed to some of the other girls and he was like, just remember, like that could be your replacement. Like, she's just as like pretty as you, just as good as you. Like she can take your place any second. So like act right. Like what the fuck? So weird. If my views one week were a little bit less than they were, or someone else on the channel got higher views on me, he would rub it in my face. He would email me or my mom or message us on Skype and be like, so-and-so's catching up to you. You better like pick up the slack. You better do better. The thing was, I never cared about being number one.
Keep in mind, he's probably the one walking away with all of this profit. What a fucking freak.
Never cared. It never mattered to me. When I say number one, let me also say this. I don't feel like I was number one. I was the profile picture and I got a lot of views on my videos. This constituted him to calling me the number one girl on the channel. Along with the ranking system that he would email us with and torture us with, he also ranked the channel. So when you would go on the SevenSuperGirls page, logically you would think you would go on there and all of the videos would be in order of the day of the week. So the first girl would have been Emily, then Jazzy, then me, then Jenna. It used to be. And then he made it into a tier ranking of our viewers, basically, or our popularity. It's actually so stupid. And then I hated it. Like I hated that I was the one getting a lot of views because this is something that no one ever knew, but he would literally make me out as some like evil, backstabbing bitch. My mom had become, I'm not going to name names here just because I don't feel like it's necessary. My mom had become really good friends with another girl's mom on the channels, and eventually she got onto SevenSuperGirls and she came on a trip with us. This is like way down the line, but I'm just going to mention it now because I'll probably forget. He was sitting with that mom, and we only know this because she told us, because she knew it was absolute bullshit. He told her that, you know, you need to like watch it. You need to like watch it with some of the girls and their moms on the channel because they don't want anything but money and popularity. Like you need to like be careful who you befriend because they will do anything to stab you.
Which crazy because it's him that's doing that.
Asked if it was us that he was talking about, and he was like, I wasn't gonna say it, or something along the lines of that. What the fuck? You guys, I have no way to prove that.
It's just like fucking 50-something-year-old man just starting shit to do with young girls.
Gave a shit about that, but I genuinely like never gave a shit about that. I never thought that I was the best on the channel. I looked at the other girls' videos and I thought to myself, I would watch Jazzy and Catherine Rachel's videos and think, I wish I could be that funny. Like, I wish I could be that creative. I never felt like I deserved that number one spot. And I'm putting it in quotations because it's so stupid, and I literally do not feel like there was any, to me, there was no ranking. There was no, oh, I'm number one. It's so stupid because we were children and there was literally no reason to be fucking ranking us. Why? Like, why is it a competition? Who cares if someone gets 5 million views one week and 200 the next week? Who cares? Different videos are going to perform differently. It doesn't mean that someone is more liked than the others. It doesn't mean that someone doesn't deserve to be.
Also, these kids were churning out more content than the regular creator in 2025.
In that spot because they didn't get as many like.
Also, the themes that he would give were dumbass themes.
And that literally just does not matter. And I remember it made me so angry when I heard that he said that about my mom and I, because genuinely, like, that was never either of our thought process behind it. And I hope so badly that all of the other girls know that. As things started to progress, in came the rules. These rules built up. It was like a domino effect. It would start off, we would have a new rule implemented. At one point, it was just, you know, like I said, summer clothes, which was so dumb because it was also summer clothes even in the winter, and some of the girls lived in places it snowed. I think the first rule that I remember was no makeup. It started off as minimal makeup. You were only allowed to wear very...
Oi. Okay, so not only do they have to dress like it's summer all the time, which is problematic, but they're no longer allowed to wear makeup. You know why that is? Because he's trying to have them look as young as possible and it's just so fucking creepy.
Natural makeup. And then at some point it turned into no makeup at all. And then it turned into, if you are caught wearing makeup, you will be punished. He would threaten us so much. So much. I'm assuming all the other girls had the same experience. He would threaten me so much. So much. I was told that if I wore makeup, it would be over. He said, I will never provide you with an opportunity again. I will make sure none of the sponsors ever work with you again. You will like lose your spot on the channel. If like it was like all of these open-ended threats of like losing everything I had worked so hard for. On one of the trips when he had first started to implement this no makeup rule, he had left it very open-ended. This is something that he would do. And this is why when I used to make story times about him, I would call him the Riddle Man. Well, people in the comments came up with that and I kind of stuck with it because it's like a perfect name for Ian. Like he would like almost speak in code. He would say shit to you and you would like think you knew what he meant, but then he would turn on you.
I mean, it's what really manipulative people do so that they can say something, and then if you do something that they don't like, they can apply it to what they told you not to do, even if it was or wasn't.
He would like gaslight you into thinking that you were doing something wrong, even though he told you it was okay. If you did something wrong, you couldn't make up for it, and he would tell you, the train has left the station. Like, you missed your train. Like, this was it for you. So dumb. And he said all kinds of like weird cryptic shit like that all of the time. So the clothes we wore at the meet and greets were sponsored clothing. It was for the brand. I'm not really sure why we had to wear them at the meet and greet, but he claims the sponsors wanted that. Again, have no idea if that's true. He would tell us that he prefers no makeup. Okay, that leaves it open-ended. So he prefers it, but you don't have to do it. That's what prefers mean. It's a preference. He would rather you not wear it, but if you do, it's fine, right? He would leave the choice to us. But I remember a couple girls showed up with makeup on. Nothing crazy. Like a little bit of concealer, like covering a pimple or under eye bags, and maybe a little mascara. He like would pull them aside and be like, are you wearing makeup? And they'd be like, just like a little bit. And he would tell them that if they don't go wipe it off their face right now, they were not allowed to be in any of the pictures or any of the content. He would completely exclude them and kick them out of the video. Those are like your most insecure years too, where you're wanting to wear makeup. I mean, a lot of people have acne or things going on and all the other girls are wearing makeup, so why shouldn't you be allowed to? And it was fine because it was like just in the videos, but then, you know, I would think about, wow, like 8 million people are gonna see this and I have eye bags. So it wasn't the best for self-confidence. So we had to have a full cohesive natural hair color, brown or blonde. Well, kids won't have colored hair. 12-year-olds aren't gonna have colored hair. And he made me go to the hair salon and dye the highlights out of my hair. Then the hair thing took another extreme. No cutting hair. You were not allowed to cut your hair at all. You had to consult him for a trim. Literally, you had to ask his permission.
What the fuck?
Of dead hair cut off of your hair. Like, what are we, a cult? Then it was no nail polish, even though, why? Like, kids wear nail polish. Then it was no plucking eyebrows. This one got me. I had very like overgrown eyebrows. They would grow all down on like this part of my eyelid. It made me so insecure to have hair there because you also have to remember, like, I was a teenager at this point. Yes, I was homeschooled, but I was a competitive swimmer. I had friends at this point. I was going to swim and seeing people, and I had these overgrown bushy ass eyebrows that were not shaped at all, and I was not allowed to pluck them. And I've told this story on TikTok before, but I'm going to tell it again. One time I was so fed up with it. I did not give a shit anymore. I was like so tired of my face. Every time I would put makeup on in my personal life, I would try to cover it with concealer, and then it would just make it look worse. And I hated my eyebrows so much. I was so tired of them looking like that. And I was like, why does this matter? Nobody is looking at my eyebrows this close and thinking, she has plucked eyebrows, so she must be 16. I plucked my eyebrows one night. I like plucked a few hairs. It was like 5. I'm not even joking. Like barely anything. I looked in the mirror and I could tell like the very slightest, it like barely looked any different. And then I started to get scared. I was like, I don't want to get in trouble. So I stopped. I send in my video to him that week. The way it would work is we would create the videos and we would send them into him through what I mentioned. The audition got sent through Hightail. So we sent him the video and he would upload it. None of us had access to the channel. We didn't have password, email, anything.
Because then you don't know how much money the channel's actually making if you don't have access to it.
We just sent him our videos. Sent him my video this week. Immediately, I get like a whole entire dissection of my video in my Skype messages. And I'm like, oh, here we go. And he is contacting my mom and he's going, it looks like Kaylin has plucked off a couple of hairs off of her left eyebrow. Did she pluck her eyebrow? And at first my mom was like, oh my God, like I'm just gonna lie. And was like, no. He was so insistent. He kept asking like, ask her right now, like, are you sure? He made us go on a call and he made me admit to my mom, even though she already knew, and him, that I did in fact pluck a little bit off my eyebrows. I got in so much trouble with it. He was so angry and he told me that he informed, this was so stupid. I don't know why. I don't even think we believed it at this time, but I don't even know why. Like he told me that, so he claimed that the eyebrow thing was a sponsor rule. Like they didn't want our eyebrows plucked, which is literally bullshit. I had to admit to him that I plucked my eyebrows and he told me that the next day he messages me and he tells me that he emailed Gap, which was one of our sponsors. It was like Gap Kids. And he goes, I informed them of like what you've done, and they said they no longer will be working with you until your eyebrows grow back out. I was like, what the fuck? So he then goes on to tell me that I'm gonna lose out on all my sponsorships for the next couple months as a punishment. He isn't going to like let me be in any of the sponsored videos. And he did. He did not send me any of the sponsored clothing. All the other girls got to keep doing their sponsorships and keep getting, you know, their money from it. I was not allowed to.
Actual fuck.
And he also took portions out of my income because I plucked 5 hairs on my eyebrow. And on top of all of that, for the next like 6 months, I had to send him up close photos of my face to prove that my eyebrows were growing out.
What the fuck?
Controlling us. It was so strange. Like he loved to be in control and he knew he could because he was literally like holding all of our opportunities in his hands. He knew he was able to manipulate us to kind of do whatever he wanted because I don't even know how he did it looking back, but he somehow was able to. This is what he told us, and this is what he told us about every rule he created. The sponsors want you to do this. The sponsors don't want you to do that. The sponsors do not want you to cut your hair. The sponsors do not want you to wear makeup. The sponsors do not want you to pluck your eyebrows. They want a natural, young look. I remember like looking at like Justice catalogs when we were working with Justice, and he told us that Justice was strict on no makeup, no shaved legs, no plucked eyebrows, all this shit. But like if you look at the ads and like catalogs and like on the website of the girls that model for them, they have on makeup. They probably shaved their legs. Like I fully 100% believe that every rule he made up was a weird fetish thing that started to kind of unveil as he got more and more and more in control and more money hungry. These aren't even the rules that are super weird. It starts to get even worse. No. Bras. This was near the end, this rule. This was near the point that I left. We were not allowed to wear bras. It started off as, you know, the sponsors don't want your bra strap showing because they...
Oh, I need him to die. Is he still alive? Oh, it's just... Oh. Oh.
They want these clothes to be marketed towards girls who don't wear bras, like children. No bras at all. Even in videos that were not sponsored clothing. No bras. None. Look, I'm part of the Itty Bitty Titty Committee. I don't have much work in here, but if anyone else out there is part of the Itty Bitty Titty Committee, they're like pointy. And I'm also always cold, so they're always like pointy. If I'm not wearing a bra, like that made me so uncomfortable. I was 16 years old. I did not want the whole world on the internet to see my... I would get these bandeaus, which are like strapless bras that just go here, and I would wear them under my clothes in the video. They didn't add anything, they just like covered, you know? But you could see them through, you know how like if someone has a tighter fitting shirt on, you can see their bra clasp at the back, you could see the bandeau through the back. So whenever I would film clips where I was walking backwards or you could see my back, I would take off the bandeau in the middle of filming and film that clip and then put it back on for all.
Jesus fucking Christ.
So ridiculous and weird. No underwear in leotards. We used to do...
What?
Sponsorships for gymnastics leotard brands because we would collab with 7Gymnastics Girls. He would also bring them out on some of these trips, and we would all wear leotards. We were not allowed to wear underwear in them. It didn't matter if you had a camel toe. It didn't matter if you could see through the leotard. No underwear, or you would be kicked out of the video. No shaving legs. This one took place right before I left. We were not allowed to shave our legs. He wanted to be able to see our leg hair. I'm sorry, the sponsors wanted to be able to see our leg hair because little girls don't shave their legs. Little girls don't pluck their eyebrows. Little girls don't wear makeup. Little girls have long hair. But we were not little girls. We were 16. This is going to be a 2-part video because it's a lot. So if you want to hear the rest, go check out part 2.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I mean, this is like shocking for anyone to hear, but I think it's like incredibly shocking if you like watch these channels because this is not anything that like I would have ever imagined going on. But obviously at my age now, I understand and can see that. But again, that's with the context of knowing everything. What a fucked up man. And the fact there was entire channels dedicated to gymnastics and stuff like that, it's like, I don't even know what went on there, but it's like, did anyone else watch these channels? Oh my god, I'm so fucking angry right now. Muckers, I'll leave it here and we'll do part 2 in another video, but my god. Oh, I need him to suffer. Goodbye.